Good morning and welcome back, students. We are studying economics and we have completed 6 chapters of our book Macroeconomics. And today we will start Indian economic development. That is this type book from our course T.R. Jain V.K. Auri. Chapter 1, Indian economy on the eve of independence. So we are going to study historical aspects of India from the day of independence in this book. So what was our history before independence, that we will study, and then we will study the after effects of the colonial government on Indian economy in this chapter. So I am going to start the chapter. Colonial exploitation of the Indian economy under the British rule. It is known as colonial government because Britishers came to India in the form of a colony. They came here to do business with the name East India Company. Indian economy under the British rule was subjected to colonial exploitation. It implied a targeted exploitation of all sectors of the economy by the British government. This is how it happened. Under British rule, each and every sector of Indian economy was harshly exploited in different ways. So we are going to study one by one. First is colonial exploitation of agriculture sector. Agriculture was exploited through zamindari system of land revenue. So Britishers appointed zamindar in between the landowners, or we can say that tenants of land and government. Actually, what Britishers did, they gave whole of the land to the zamindar. The owners are actually zamindar, and zamindar will provide the land on rent to the farmers, to the small farmers. Farmers do their agricultural activities on the land, and at the end of the season of crop, when crop comes, the major portion of the crop is taken away by zamindar in the name of rent, which is in Hindi is known as lagan. They took rent on behalf of government, and a major portion of that rent goes to British government. And in this way, the tenant farmers, small farmers, were exploited in a major way. Following observations highlight how this system led to exploitation of Indian agriculture. Zamindars were declared as owners of the soil. Soil means here land. They were to pay a fixed sum to the government by way of land revenue, which is like the rent of the land, and were free to extract as much as they wished or as much as they could from the tillers of the soil. So they made some Indian enemy of other Indians. The zamindars appointed by Britishers were absolutely Indians, but they were under the reign of the Britishers. They become exploitators, and they exploited Indian farmers because they have to pay a fixed sum to the government, and they can extract any amount, they can take any amount of rent from the farmers. So they exploited very harshly the farmers, and they took a major rent from the farmers and left only some crop for them to survive. The tillers of the soil, means the actual cultivators, got bare minimum for survival. उनको सिर्फ थोड़ा सा अपने survival के लिए मिल पाता था. They were left with no surplus for investment in agriculture. और उनके पास जो crop बचती थी after paying rent और लगान to the जमींदार, जो उनके पास crop बचती थी वो सिर्फ उनके survival के लिए ही काफी होती थी. उनके पास कोई surplus नहीं होता था. Surplus का मतलब होता है जो हम बेचकर बचा कर रख लेते हैं. हम जब बिजनेस करते हैं, so we sell our product and there are savings, there are profits. बट ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं था किसानों के लिए. उनको सिर्फ इतनी क्रॉप मिल पाती थी कि वो अपने खाने का गुजारा चला सकें. उनके पास कोई सरप्लस नहीं होता था, और जब सरप्लस नहीं बचेगा तो वो लैंड में री इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं कर पाते थे. तो उससे ना तो वो कोई इरिगेशन फैसिलिटीज डेवलप कर पाते थे अपनी लैंड के लिए, ना वो कोई सीड्स वगैरह खरीदने के लिए उनके पास पैसा होता था, और फर्टिलाइजर्स वगैरह तो उस टाइम पर होते ही नहीं थे. बहुत बैकवर्ड इकोनॉमी थी. The zamindars, on the other hand, spent their revenue income on the luxuries of life. और जमींदार के पास बहुत पैसा इकट्ठा हो जाता था और वो उसको अपने लग्जरीज के लिए खर्च करते थे. लिटिल और नो इन्वेस्टमेंट वाज मेड फॉर द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर, एंड नो डाउट जमींदार भी एग्रीकल्चर डेवलपमेंट के लिए कोई खर्चा नहीं करते थे. जैसे आजकल की गवर्नमेंट नहरें बनाती है और डैम्स बनाती है, किसानों को पानी प्रोवाइड करवाती है, सीड्स प्रोवाइड करवाती है, सब्सिडी देती है, ऐसा कुछ भी जमींदार नहीं करते थे, क्योंकि जमींदार का काम था सिर्फ रेंट कलेक्ट करना किसानों से और गवर्नमेंट को एक फिक्स अमाउंट देना और बाकी अपनी जिंदगी मजे में गुजारना. तो वो एक बहुत खराब चीज साबित हुई इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर के लिए, जिसको इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर आज भी भुगत रहा है. जमींदारी सिस्टम ऑफ लैंड रेवेन्यू. A system of land revenue that works through middlemen called zamindar. Zamindars are actually intermediaries between Britishers and the farmers, between the colonial government and the peasants. Peasants is also another name of small farmers. Farmers having no land, but they do agriculture as a laborer on the land, and they have the crop after paying the rent. Colonial exploitation of industrial sector. Now we are studying the secondary sector, that is industrial sector. Prior to the British rule, industrial sector in India was well known for its handicrafts. Handicrafts means handmade goods like clothes and pots and wooden items, and it can be the earthen pots which have so many qualities, and fair handwork. Indian handicraft was so much popular in the rest of the world sometime. Indian handicrafts, ब्रैकेट में उसकी डेफिनेशन लिखी हुई है, वर्क प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय हैंड लेबर, हाथ से जो काम किया जाता है. एंजॉयड ए वर्ल्ड वाइड रेपुटेशन फॉर देयर वेराइटी एंड क्वालिटी. द इंडियन लेबर वाज सो मच एफिशिएंट, दे मेक गुड थिंग्स एंड दीज वर वेल रेप्यूटेड इन फॉरेन कंट्रीज आल्सो. But these were destroyed by the British government in two ways. But British government destroyed our Indian handicraft system by two ways. First was foreign demand for Indian handicrafts was destroyed by way of heavy duty on their exports. So whatever we exported from India, Britishers levied heavy taxation on these goods. So these goods became very much expensive for the foreigners to buy, and in this way our market from foreigners went to diminish. It was diminished. तो क्या करा ब्रिटिशर्स ने, उन्होंने इंडियन हैंडीक्राफ्ट जो भी बाहर एक्सपोर्ट होता था उस पर बहुत ज्यादा टैक्स लगा दिया, ड्यूटी लगा दी, एक्सपोर्ट ड्यूटी. तो उससे क्या होगा, वो चीज जब बिकेगी विदेश में जाकर तो वो महंगी बिकेगी, तो उससे उसकी डिमांड कम हो गई और इस तरीके से इंडियन हैंडीक्राफ्ट मार्केट खत्म हो गया. दूसरा है डोमेस्टिक डिमांड फॉर द इंडियन हैंडीक्राफ्ट was destroyed by way of duty free import of the British goods in the Indian market. और उन्होंने अपने खुद के मशीनरी मेड गुड्स, मशीनरी मेड क्लोथ इंडिया में आके बेचना शुरू कर दिया, जिसको इंडियंस ने ही खरीदा. इंडियंस को ही इंडियंस का उन्होंने दुश्मन बनाया, क्योंकि जब आपको मशीनरी से बना हुआ आइटम मिलेगा और वो भी सस्ता मिलेगा इंडियन मेड गुड्स से, तो कौन महंगे आइटम को खरीदेगा. तो सब लोगों ने ब्रिटिशर्स वाले प्रोडक्ट को खरीदना शुरू कर दिया और उससे इंडियन इंडस्ट्रीज खत्म हो गई. तो दोनों ही जगह उन्होंने क्या करा, इंडियंस को ही इंडियंस का दुश्मन बनाया. इसलिए हम कहते हैं ब्रिटिशर्स की पॉलिसी क्या थी, डिवाइड एंड रूल. सो व्हाट दे डिड, दे मेड इंडियंस द एनिमी ऑफ इंडियंस. इन व्हाट वे, फर्स्ट हाउ दे डिस्ट्रॉयड इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर, दे declined, they diminished the demand, they decreased the demand of Indian handicraft in foreign countries by imposing heavy tax on exports. Secondly, they made demand of their own produce from Britain. They import goods, the machine made goods, and they sell in India. And in this way, the machine made goods demand increased and handicraft demand was decreased, because handicraft was quite expensive because it was made by hand, and when labor work they have less efficiency and less effectiveness. So when they produce less, then they can sell, they have to sell it at more price to earn their living. But the goods which were coming from Britain were made by machines, they have less cost and high quality. So the demand for British goods were increased and Indian handicraft got declined. And also what they import from Britain, no duty and no tax was charged on such imports because there was British rule in India. So in this way they exploited industrial sector. Now we are moving towards international trade. International trade means export and import from India. So they completely destroyed our relations with the other countries and they make duty-free imports and exports from Britain, and only we can export to Britain, and they also import finished goods from the Britain. So what they did, they take all raw materials from India, maximum raw materials they take from India without any cost or with little cost, and they then make finished goods out of these raw materials in their own industries and then sell it back to India. In this way, they exploited our international trade with other countries. We are not allowed to trade with other countries without any tax. India's international trade was exploited through discriminatory tariff tax on imports policy. It implied duty-free export of Indian raw material to fulfill the industrial needs in Britain. Duty-free export of raw material from India. They took all maximum raw material from India without paying any tax. Duty-free import of British goods to expand demand for the British goods in the Indian market, and they import British goods in India to expand their demand, and also no duty was imposed on that British goods. So they become more cheap in relation to Indian goods. It was owing to discriminatory tariff policy that India became importer of finished goods from Britain and exporter of raw material to Britain. Briefly, owing to its colonial exploitation, the Indian economy became both stagnant as well as backward. So in this way, Indian economy became stagnant. Stagnant means which is fixed, which is not growing, which not growing further, जो कि fixed रहती है एक जगह, उसको बोलते हैं stagnant. And as well as backward in the sense we were so much backward from other countries, and still today we are facing this challenge to become upgraded or to become upward. So these were the exploitations of British government. Next point is features of Indian economy on the eve of independence. इंडिपेंडेंस के टाइम पर हमारी इकोनॉमी के क्या फीचर्स थे? मीन 1947 when we got independence, up to that time, what were the features of our Indian economy? Features were very bad. First was stagnant economy. I gave you the meaning of stagnant now. Stagnant means fixed, which is not growing or which is not changing. On the eve of independence, Indian economy was completely a stagnant economy. A stagnant economy is the one which shows little or no growth in income. It was that economy in which the growth rate was negligible. Between 1860 to 1925, growth rate of per capita income was as low as 0.5% per annum. It was only 0.5% per annum. And between 1925 and 1950, it was 0.1% per annum only. 0.1. It was so little, so low. On account of this stagnation, bulk of Indian population lived in poverty, and due to this stagnant economy, major population was below poverty line. Standard of living of the people remained miserably low. बहुत दुखद उनकी स्थिति थी. Epidemics and famines were a recurring phenomenon. Epidemics यानी कि जैसे अभी कोरोना एपिडेमिक पेंडेमिक आप लोग सुन रहे हो, वैसे ही उस टाइम पर भी बहुत सारी ऐसी डिजीजेस जो कि बहुत जल्दी फैलती हैं और बहुत सारे लोगों को मार देती हैं, तो फैल रही थी. एपिडेमिक्स कहते हैं उनको. एंड फेमाइन मीन्स सूखा पड़ जाना, जहां पर खाने के लिए लोगों के पास कुछ नहीं होता, बरसात नहीं होती, और गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से भी कोई हेल्प नहीं मिल पाती थी। इस तरह का वहाँ पर सिचुएशन इंडिया में थी और ये बार बार ऐसा होता था। जब भी बरसात नहीं होती थी तो फेमाइन हो जाता था, सूखा हो जाता था, जानवर भूखे मर जाते थे, इवन बहुत सारे इंसान भी भूख के कारण मर जाते थे। सेकंड फीचर है बैकवर्ड इकोनॉमी। तो जब हमारी इकोनॉमी की इतनी खराब कंडीशन थी तो बैकवर्ड तो वो होगी होगी। इंडियन इकोनॉमी वाज ए बैकवर्ड इकोनॉमी ऑन द eve of independence. Backward economy is the one in which per capita income is very low. In 1947-48, means at the time of independence, per capita income in India was just rupees 230. Per person income was rupees 230. The bulk of the population was very poor, without sufficient food, clothing and shelter, and that 230 was a good amount at that time. But even 230 was not the income of all the Indians. You all know that per capita income is calculated by dividing the national income with the population, but actually this per capita income does not belong to each and every person. Majority of population from the day of independence was still so much poor. They were not having food for eating and clothes for wearing. So bulk of the population was very poor, we can say, without sufficient food, without clothing and without shelter. They don't have homes. Unemployment was rampant. Rampant means fastly increasing. Unemployment बहुत ज्यादा उस टाइम पर था। ओके, इट्स इनफ फॉर टुडे। आप लोगों को इस बुक के भी नोट्स बनाने हैं। जितना मैंने पढ़ाया आपको नोट्स प्रिपेयर करने हैं और जो पीछे क्वेश्चंस दे रखे हैं उनसे रिलेटेड जो भी क्वेश्चन आपको मिलता है अभी तक पढ़ाया जिससे रिलेटेड, उसको आप कॉपी में करेंगे। ये आपका आज का होमवर्क है। ओके, हैव ए गुड डे, थैंक यू।